Hey there, this is the PA setup test. So the idea is that we're going to show you how to do it. I don't really know what I'm doing. I've got Sashi to guide me through. And yeah, we'll just set up the PA and then you copy what I've done and hopefully do it better. So first thing is make sure you have all of the necessary resources, power cables, audio cables and speakers, etc. So over here you'll see that we have a fine array of things.
As you can see, Michael's laid out all of the resources needed. He has the power cables for the assets he's about to use, which is one monitor, two speakers, a mixing desk, a keyboard, and a guitar amp. Next to that he has his XLRs for the speakers, as well as an XLR to TS, or TRS in this case. This is going to be used for the monitor. Next to that he's got microphones, 57 for a guitar and a 58 for the vocal, as well as having all of the keyboard assets needed, the DI, power cable, jack to jack and XLR, as well as the mixing console, a monitor or foldback, a guitar amp and the two PA speakers and a keyboard.
So number 2, set up your speakers, mixer and foldback in the appropriate locations. Check that they are turned off. So up over here is my speaker turned off. Down over here is my second speaker turned off. Split apart so that you can get the full stereo effect. Down here is my monitor. And that power is turned off. Number 3, make sure all of the mixing faders are down. So, and the gain trim pots are down on the mixing console. So, my mixing faders are down, and my gain faders are down. Number 4, attach all power cables to the resources being used, such as the power cord to the mixer, for example. So what we've got here is we've got this power source here, which is going to go and run the backline. Backline is amps and keyboards and stuff. And this is going to do our front of house. And I'll leave that power off. Okay, so I'm just plugging in the desk. And the monitor. And the Samson speaker. Lucky last, the Nord keyboard. Excellent. Alright, so we've plugged it all up. So everything's got power, but nothing is turned on. Now, number 6, start to lay your XLR speaker cables from the mixer to the speakers. Attach the cable from the stereo outputs on the mixing console to the inputs of the speaker. Check that the speakers are correctly attached left to left and right to right. On this particular console, the main outputs on this console are at the back. Okay, so this is the male XLR to female, and the male into the female. On this mixer, the auxiliary sends are jack to jack. So we've got the jack to SLR. So I'm going to put my jack into the auxiliary send, and then I'm going to plug it in, and like so. Connected the speakers, correct sends, right to right, left to left. Got the monitor hooked up. Okay, so number 7, attach your foldback speaker using the XLR to TRS cable, which I just showed you. Use auxiliary 1 send on the output on the mixing console to the input on the fallback speaker. Cool. So we've done that. Number 8, arrange the microphone and keyboard into appropriate location. So here's my keyboard, and I'm going to sing us a little song today. And so I'm just going to grab SM58 microphone, which is a good vocal microphone, and that is about right for me. Any songs? Okay, so this is a TO box, and the first thing we're going to do is we're going to plug it in from mic 1 into this input in here. So I'll just do that right now. There to there. Car pipe. This into the left out, and then coming down here, plug this into the input, like so. So now we're going to turn the phantom power on. Phantom power is sending 48 volt to the DI. So now we're going to plug in the microphone cable to the microphone. So it's pretty obvious which end goes into which. You can use for this XLR cable, and we're going to put this into our input channel number 2 down here, like so. This is the SM57 microphone, industry standard Shure microphone, and we're going to attach that to the middle of the speaker of the guitar so we get a good guitar sound. And I'm going to then connect this DI cable this XLR cable from the microphone like so, and we're going to use input mic input number 3, just like so. So now we're going to turn on the mains power on the wall. 1, 2. Okay, so after that we're going to turn the mixing console on first, then the front of house speakers and the foldback speaker. After that I'll power up the keyboard and make sure the volume of the keyboard is also up. So, mixing console, power on, front of house on, and keyboard on, right here. Keyboard volume up. Okay, so test the keyboard by pressing the PFL solo button on the channel strip, increasing the gain trim pot until you see the input signal lights increase from green to the first yellow light. So I'm going to play the keyboard for Sash, and he will show you. As the gain goes up, the green lights go up. Disengage the PFL solo button and increase the master fader to about 10 dB. Then increase the keyboard channel strip fader slowly. You should now hear the keyboard sound out of the front of house speakers. Then we're going to repeat the steps for the microphone. So hit the solo button on the microphone channel, which is 2. I'm going to send it a signal, 1, 2, barbecue, 1, 2, barbecue, barbecue, 1, 2, barbecue, and then solo off and increase the fader until you hear the sound of your voice. Also repeat the process for the guitar amp. Input, master up a little bit. Gain. And on the disc, we'll hit the solo button and then increase the fader till you get the lights, or the gain, sorry, get the gain. Now it's coming through the speaker. So now we're going to do the foldback. So check the auxiliary send master is up to halfway. So auxiliary 1 is the master, and we're going to set that up at halfway. Now on the individual channel strips, increase the auxiliary 1 send from the keyboard and the microphone. So this is the keyboard, is it? So auxiliary 1 send, and on the microphone. And let me just check that that's coming through the clearly coming through the monitor, and so should this, and I can hear myself clearly. Next, check the effects master is at halfway. So there's the effects master on halfway. Now on the individual channels strips, increase the FX send from the keyboard and the microphone, and you should hear reverb on the front of house speakers. So here's FX send 1, let's give it a little bit of that up on the vocal mic, and we should hopefully hear a bit of reverb. Okay, so now you should be able to hear that I have reverb on this microphone. Okay, number 22, probably the most important. Check that all cables are secure and tidy by taping them down or laying mats over them, and check any other hazards. The last thing you want to do as a performer is get up on stage and fall over. And so over top of the cable, the loose cable here, just put mats over the top, keep it nice and smooth. Number 23, when powering down, turn the front of house speakers off, the foldback speaker off, and then the mixing console off. So, front of house speaker off and off, mixing console, monitor speaker off, and last of all, faders down and mixing console off. If you get this round the wrong way, you will hear a very loud pop. So follow that order. In conclusion, you should now be able to set up a PA by yourself, including guitar amp, keyboard, microphones, get them going and set reverb up. Then power it down. The last bit is to make sure you pack everything down and put it all away. Roll the cables up carefully. Thank you.